Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to this special broadcast on Sansad TV. I'm Tina Jha. As the world marks Human Rights Day on 10th December, the focus this year is on dignity, freedom and justice for all. The call for action is stand up for human rights. So at a time when the world faces new and ongoing challenges, the pandemic, conflicts, exploding inequalities, also climate change, economic crisis and so on, the values and rights enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights become all the more important. To discuss the significance of the day this year and how we are working towards promoting and protecting human rights, I am joined by a special guest in the studio, Chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, Justice Arun Kumar Mishra. Justice Mishra, thank you for your time. Welcome to Sansad TV. Let me begin by asking you first about the significance of this day, the Human Rights Day, and how do you interpret the theme this year, which talks about freedom, dignity, and justice for all?
Theme for this year is very well reflected in our culture, which says Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Entire world is one family. We have to respect each other and treat all the human around the globe as fellow, not as adversary. The dignity, freedom and justice for all signifies that all humans are equal, and it intends towards empowerment of those deprived of socio-economic justice. They are vulnerable and especially abled, LGBTI, and those who suffer inherently from backwardness and have been kept behind for centuries. We have to address their concern in order to provide them human dignity, in order to provide them freedom and justice. Justice for all means those who have been deprived of socio-economic emancipation. While distributing the benefits, we have to ensure that distributive justice is meted out to them, those who needs. We are obliged as a welfare state, and even as a better those who have earned sufficiently, it's their duty to fulfill the basic needs of other human, those who are deprived of it. So we have to ensure justice for all means distributive justice for all means basic needs have to be fulfilled for all. And it is the state's obligation, it is the society obligation, it is the obligation of all of us to care for each other and to ensure that in the process of development, nobody is left behind and everybody is given as per his rights and basic needs.
Absolutely. UDHR, which talks about these universal rights for every human being, it is in fact the bedrock of human rights and sustainable development goals as well, the 2030 agenda that the world has been focusing on and is working towards achieving these goals. But in that aspect, if I would like to understand from you the vision and aim of the NHRC, which in India works for promoting and protecting human rights.
Actually, we believe that we have to work towards the direction of Bahujan Hitaya, Bahujan Sukhaya. In our scriptures, it is written, Sangachadham, Samvaddham, Samvo Manasi Janatam, Siva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sajanam Upasate. Take everybody together and we have to progress all together. We must share the benefit with each other. And as a matter of fact, while ensuring all this, we have to see for the downtrodden class, jail reforms, and ensure that every prisoner comes out of the jail a reformed person and is ultimately rehabilitated in the society. Rehabilitation is done in the society. And then there is no violation of human rights. those who are not having sufficient food should be provided food. Those who are not able to receive the education should receive the better education, if not the better education. And logo of NHRC, Human Rights Commission, is Sarve Bhantu Sukhina, Sabko Sukh Prapt Ho. Human trafficking should come to an end. All forms of begar, bonded labor, child, woman abuse, and LGBTI rights are given respect.
So
And
indeed,
there is no abuse of anyone's right.
so indeed, a wide array of grievances which the NHRC, delves into and aims to resolve as well. In that aspect, if I could understand from you some of the recent incidents that the NHRC has taken so motor cognizance of, and especially I was looking at the recent incidents, the most important being the impact of pollution on human beings. So all of us, especially residing in and around the national capital, every year we face this kind of a problem. This year the NHRC did hold a series of meetings. So what was the outcome of these meetings? What is the vision of the NHRC towards ensuring that this does not curtail or violate human rights in any way?
Actually, environment is a burning issue. It's the business and human rights session also held by Gunnery and other associations, APF also. This issue is being deliberated upon. That environment has to be protected at all the cost. There is liability of the business towards the human rights as well as for protection of the environment. While achieving sustainable development goal, it becomes necessary that we care for the environment. As a matter of fact, for environment, it is a responsibility at the local level and vision at the world level is required. Global thinking and action at local level, which is required. For that, if we really want to improve the situation, local self-government have to come forward. They have to discharge their statutory responsibility, which have found expression, though earlier they are in the directive principles of the state policy. Once they are given a statutory shape, it is necessary for them to implement the provisions in the municipal laws. But we see a decision of the Supreme Court in Ratlam municipality's case way back 40 years ago, rendered in the Ratlam municipality versus Birdi Chand. In that, Supreme Court directed the Ratlam municipality to construct the drainage and sewer, etc. in the city. But still we see that needful is not done by the local bodies. They are not able to remove the garbage. They are not able to remove the medical waste. Business houses are spreading industrial pollution. They are not running up to the norms. They are not having requisite plants, treatment plants, and they are permitted to run. This is not a good scenario. If we fail in protecting the environment, climatic change is taking place very rapidly. If we have to live, we have to survive, we have to protect the environment. Only then right to life will remain intact.
Absolutely. And for that, all stakeholders need to sit together and work on a solution.
Work together.
Absolutely. Another area of concern that, the NHRC recently has been working upon, and I was reading, is the fact that there have been increasing incidents of deaths of people involved in hazardous cleaning. It's ironical that at a time when we are talking about leaving no one behind, at a time when we say that we need to ensure justice for all, how will we ensure justice for this kind of, that segment of people who are even in this century doing such kind of menial jobs which have been abolished, which have been banned, but still they're taking place, claiming human lives?
In this regard, after due consultation with all stakeholders, including the government, we have issued an advisory. Commission has issued an advisory on 24th September 2021. that these workers who are cleaning septic tanks should be provided with the basic safety gears, safety equipments, which are necessary for protection of their life,
Absolutely.
like safety jackets, gloves, masks, gun boots, eyeglasses, torchlight, oxygen cylinders, and also it is necessary that in sewer as well as in septic tanks, those emergency lights are fixed, which give automatic signal regarding presence of gas, poisonous gases, which is the cause the most of the deaths of the workers. In spite of the advisory, we find that still workers are dying. They are not provided with safety
Certainly.
gears.
And, Justice, that leads me to the next question. The fact that it's an advisory, how do we ensure that in matters that claim human lives, these are legally binding?
We are ensuring that in case of such deaths, not only we are taking sumo motu cognizance, but we are ensuring adequate compensation is granted. Then we have direct issued notices to several, at least more than 20 matters, why the officers, including at the highest level, should not be criminally prosecuted. Because a person is dying due to your culpable negligence, which is amounting to murder.
Right.
So why they should not be criminally prosecuted and also held liable in law of torts? Departmental inquiry, we are going to order definitely for non-compliance of these provisions. In addition, we have directed that mechanical cleaning of sewer as well as septic tank should be done. Hyderabad, it is being done by Bandi Coots, which is a mechanical device due to which it is not necessary for a person even to enter septic tanks and sewer lines. And it is done, mechanical cleaning is done, jetting, etc. can also be resorted. Though at some places it has been initiated, process of mechanical cleaning has been initiated, but that is not enough. Now, what is the funny thing is which is happening, that they are contracting now, their local bodies are contracting down their statutory liabilities to the private contractors, and leaving the person to die at the hands of them. And they say that they are responsible for observance of these statutory duty, which is enjoined upon the statutory bodies. So they cannot escape their liability.
Certainly. We have to ensure that the buck stops with somebody who is accountable, who is held accountable in case there is loss of human life. In that aspect, Justice, if I could, for better understanding of our viewers, if you could explain to us the powers of the NHRC, because usually what we come across is that on incidents like these, the NHRC takes suo motu cognizance. But what happens after that? I mean, you issue advisories, and how do you follow up? So to whoever the advisory is issued or notices are served, once they respond back, and because I ask you this question because at times the perpetrator is the one who is in power himself or herself. So how do we deal with that kind of a situation?
Actually, when we take suo motu cognizance in the matters, such as recently we have taken the matter of child abuse also in Andhra Pradesh. And several other states we have taken the suo motu cognizance. At least in 50 cases this year we have taken the suo motu cognizance. In some of the cases when we feel necessary, we send our own investigation team. And then conduct due inquiry after calling for the evidence and every other report which is necessary. Then we issue appropriate directions for reformation in order to ensure that such an incident should not recur in future. What corrective measures are required, due to whose negligence this is taking place or whose connivance these offences are taking place in shelter homes and other places. This is a matter of worry that when we provide shelter homes, when we provide protection homes, offences are taking place there. It is also irritable that offences are taking place even in jails at present. So we are in a situation where we have to improve a lot on the ground situation a lot. And law and order has to be improved. At least officers have to be disciplined. They have to discharge their duties towards which they owe to for implementing the welfare schemes. They are in abundance in India, but you officers make the mockery of the system. You see, if you are not able to discharge your responsibility towards the orphans, towards the women, towards the girls, towards the orphans and old age persons, then we are failing somewhere.
Let's now understand, because if we are celebrating, we are marking Human Rights Day. Next year, it will be a landmark, journey for adaptation of the UDHR. And through this year, we'll see several events. But because when we talk about it in the context of human rights violations, the kind of challenges that we've been through, 2 years of pandemic, we are still coming out of the pandemic. There have been large inequalities, all sorts of inequalities in society, economically, in social as well. At this time, at this juncture, when we need to, bridge these inequalities, are we stepping up? Are we preparing ourselves in that way so that, the gap doesn't widen? And if yes, what are the areas that we are focusing on?
Firstly, we have to see that there is a fallout from the schools owing to COVID. We issued several directions in that regard, that there should not be fallout. But position is far from being normal at present. People have still not come out of the fear psychosis. And secondly, what is worrying is due to Ukraine war, lot of Indian students have suffered. There is problem for them how to complete their education. And secondly, in our country, though there are educational institutions, but education, the best institutions of India, is beyond reach of poor. You have to obtain bank loans, even for completing medical education. Loans are very easily available than the education in India. So it is not a good scenario. And then we should have that framework in rural and tribal areas. We find that education standard is extremely low. We are not providing, if we fail to provide good education. And another area of concern is empowerment of the women. They are being discriminated still under the guise of various practices, customary or religious or other practices. They are not providing being provided equal inheritance. They are not being provided equality in remuneration, wages which they get. They are not being provided equal parental rights. They are not being provided with there are issues of their domicile of a married woman, of which place she should be treated as domicile. So there are discrimination, and time has come that until unless we treat this half of the population of women, which gives birth to the man, you see, this superiority complex of man should come to an end. We should treat the women as equal partners. We give dignity to them, and only then this slogan of giving dignity to all, justice for all. If we ignore the woman, and even if it is necessary by legislative intervention, we should give all the rights which might have been taken away by religious practices, customary practices, and we have fortunately with us Article 44 of the Constitution of India, which says that it is bounden duty of the government to proceed towards having a common civil code.
India that way is quite fortunate, sir, because we've seen in recent months how women in, supposedly a country of the first world has not given women the right to choose, make their own decisions on reproductive rights. And you've seen the protests taking place in Iran, wherein women can't make a choice as to what to wear. So we are fortunate that ways, but the kind of gender equality we would expect in India, that of course is still a long way in terms of making it all the more inclusive. You mentioned a lot of grievances of different sections of society. So we understand states have, these commissions wherein these grievances can be addressed, but wherein these options are not available, what are the other methods that people can resort to so that their grievances are also resolved?
As a matter of fact, if we see, National Human Rights Commission can entertain the complaints even which can be entertained by State Human Rights Commission. It is option available to any complainant to approach National Human Rights Commission, though there exists a State Human Rights Commission in the state. State commissions can only deal with the subjects which are in the state list and in the concurrent list. The subjects which are in the union list can be, and in addition, state list as well as concurrent list can be dealt with by the NHRC. In case for any reason, as in J&K, at present no commission is functional, they are filing directly complaint to us. In one more in northeast states, there is no commission at present functional. Nagaland, to say Nagaland, they are filing complaint directly to us, and we entertaining. We are calling for the action taken report on those complaints, and then we are deciding, we are dealing with this. So there is no vacuum.
You've been at the helm of NHRC for a couple of years. Having understood the functioning of the body, the kind of powers that it has, do you think there is need to make it more effective in terms of the advisory and the reform that it talks about, and make it more, binding on all of the stakeholders?
As a matter of fact, no further teeth is required. As a State Commission as well as National Human Rights Commission are having powers, and they are going to the extent of even advising the government on the international treaties, international conventions, and so many other rights are there in the institute on which we exercise our power. And though it is said that you are a recommendatory body, but recommendations are also sometimes binding.
Absolutely.
I feel that its powerful commissions are powerful and very well respected by citizenry, as well as by the officials, by the government, as well as we are not adversary in that matter. We are not adversary to anyone on earth. We are just protecting the people from violation of their human rights. We are not adversary to anyone on earth.
Right.
We are just protecting that we should protect right of each other. That's the
certainly.
motto.
So NHRC clearly is the embodiment of India's concerns as far as protecting and promoting human rights is concerned. I'll take one quick comment from you, concluding remark from you on how the NHRC engages itself at an international forum, because human rights is a global issue. The day that we celebrate is a global day. So in that context, how would you say that the NHRC coordinates with global bodies in addressing, in promoting human rights issues?
We, National Human Rights Commission, myself and our members and other officials have participated in international workshops relating to business and human rights, and at Geneva and other places. Now, change has come in the world, psychology of the entire world, that what India speaks must be heard very attentively. They are hearing us. They are taking a clue from us. They look at us. And I'm happy to share with you that we trained certain incumbents of Human Rights Commission of Maldives. And we are in those countries of the world which have that capacity, in the institutional capacity, to train the people of other places, of other Human Rights Commission. And then being a member, chairperson, being a member of APF, governing body, as well as Bureau of Guynery. So we have that say in the executive decision making, implementation of the policy making, and then importantly, with respect to accreditation of the various institutions, whether they should be accredited as A category, B category, now we have that say. We have say, we have voting power, we have power of pointing out our views and what should actually be the position with respect to policies of Gyanari and other policies.
Right. So we have an important place as far as, the international
World
collaboration
over,
is
they are
concerned.
looking at us, they want our cooperation in every
Certainly, and
field.
particularly this year has been quite important for us. We've marked our 75 years of anniversary, the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We're also, hosting the G20 summit. We'll be holding the presidency this year. So it's a significant year, and also the fact that next year is going to be an important milestone journey for the adaptation of UDHR, which will be the 75th National Human Rights Day, the Human Rights Day globally. So I think lots of events will also be lined up in India as well. We'll see the NHRC engaging in a lot of efforts.
Yes, we are going to work out for this, and we are planning to have some international events also, as if possible, because of the slogan for this year is very important: dignity, freedom, and justice for all.
Something that India has truly believed in. So with that, I'll have to wind up the program. Thank you very much, Justice Mishra, for joining us on Sunset TV and sharing your thoughts with us and our viewers on this very, very important and pertinent day, the Human Rights Day, which is being observed on the 10th of December every year. And this year, as we discussed, the theme is very, very critical: freedom, dignity, and justice for all. Thank you very much, viewers, to you as well for your time. Keep watching Sunset TV.